Those who are not vaccinated are causing hospitals to become overrun again. I just spoke to the governor of New York. Every COVID-19 hospital means someone with a heart attack, cancer, or other serious illness may not get that bed and that life-saving care they need in the hospital.
Yeah, we're doing very, very well, very manageable. There's no crisis. So let me just give you a little bit of perspective. We have right now about 460 patients in our hospitals. That's less than 10% of our overall capacity.
Yeah, gee whiz. Why can't Biden tell the truth? Joining us now, great friend, Dr. Ben Carson, former director of Johns Hopkins Pediatric Neurosurgery. Ben, first of all, good to see you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you and Candy. Ben, why does he? That was the guy who runs, I think, one of the big upstate medical conglomerates here in New York. He says, I don't know, less than 10% of the beds are being used. And Biden is trying to tell us that there's a major crisis in our hospitals. Why can't Biden just, for once in his life, tell the truth?
Well, for one thing, hospitals, most hospitals, certainly the ones that I've worked at, are always near capacity at any point in time. So whenever you have a slight uptick, we start looking for beds or you start transferring patients. That's went on through my whole professional career. So that's not anything new and different. But what we need to understand about the new Omicron variant is very, very transmissible. So a lot of people are going to get it, much more so than with the other variants that we've seen. But they're not very sick. Very few of them have to be hospitalized. The mortality rate is approaching 0. Plus, we have therapeutics now. We know a lot more about how to treat it. So to continue to frighten people and make them think that we're not making progress is really the wrong tack to take. I think what we really should be concentrating on is all the things that we have learned, the therapeutics, the Pfizer and the Merck therapeutics that have recently been announced but that have not been okayed by the FDA yet. Somebody needs to light a fire under them, and we need to really get those things out so that people can utilize them. And maybe that's a better use of some of the testing. If the testing shows that you have it, then take start the treatment. Because a lot of people are going to have it, and if we try to lock down everybody who has it, we're going to have a real problem.
Ben, why is the FDA so tardy in getting Pfizer and Merck out there? I mean, the pills are everybody says they work. I dare say Trump would have just knocked heads, you could call it deregulation, and get them to move. We're going to need a lot of that stuff, and apparently it's real good and it's real easy. What are they waiting for?
I don't know. I was on the task force, and there was a real sense of urgency. And I don't sense that urgency here. And perhaps it's because people know deep in their heart that it's not as big a problem now. It's not nearly as virulent and powerful and likely to cause you death. Plus, we know a lot more about it and how to treat it. So I wish they would level with people.
Yeah.
If you would just tell people what the facts are. Let's talk about natural immunity.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what the studies with natural immunity have shown. Let's not just ignore it and say that it doesn't exist when it's been in existence and we've known about it since the Civil War and smallpox.
And the Biden team, they love to attack people that weren't vaccinated. Now, I'm for the vaccine. I've had 2 vaccines, I've had the boost, and so forth and so on. But a lot of people that didn't get vaccinated have natural immunity. They had COVID and they recovered from it.
Exactly. And particularly a lot of the people in the medical field who were on the front lines, who are now losing their jobs, who were heroes months ago and now are goats. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I mean, is this America? Is this a place where people have freedom of choice? Or are we going to sit here like sheep and allow it to be taken away from us? That is a big question that's going on right now.
It's a great question, Ben. Right now, I don't know if I'm prepared for that question. I will just tell you this evening, save America, kill the bill. That's where I'm starting from. And preserve our freedom.
And save our children.
And save our children. Thank you,
That's...
sir. And help the deplorables. Ben Carson, the best of the best. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. All right, folks. Ben, wait, but was that? Can I get? I want to get his book out. Ben Carson's latest book, Why America Matters. There it is. Very important.